Hi, I'm Heather Yelland. Welcome to Fiona Jones's Millionaire Mindset Challenge. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today. I'm sure you're having an incredible time going through this wonderful process that Fiona's got set out for you all. Today, I guess I want to share with you 3 or 4 things that really matter to me in the work that I do, both in my own life and with all of the people with whom I have the pleasure of sharing journeys. The first thing I want to talk about is what I call your big why. Lots of people are talking about this nowadays, but what does it actually mean? What is your big why? Your big why is it's the life force, it's the energy, it's the thing that's going to guide you through your entire life. It's the thing that creates your greatest inspiration, I think. So how do you discover it? Well, that's a great question. If you've hung around with a 3-year-old child, you'll get the impression that they're really interested to try and understand more and understand more and understand more about who they are and how the world works. And often they'll ask you a question and you'll answer that question, and their response to your answer will be, but why? So you'll answer again and clarify the question or you'll answer even further. But why? And they just keep asking that question until they either get a satisfactory answer or until such time as your patience wears thin and you divert them into something else. It's actually a really good thing for us to be our own 3-year-old. I think it's a really good exercise to go through, to just ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I here on this earth? What's the difference that I am here to make? Because you are here to make a difference. And if you don't make your difference, it doesn't get made. I can't make your difference any more than you can make mine. So understanding why you're here is really important. When you ask that question, why am I here? Come up with your own answer, whether you speak it or write it or talk to a friend about it. When you come up with that first answer, then say, and why is that important? Why does that matter to me? And just keep digging into it. I went through this exercise recently at a 5-day event that I was running, and while the participants went through the exercise, I did it as well. It's great to come to these things with a beginner's mind, as the Buddhists say. And I came up with the word connection. This is a fundamental energy that is imbued through absolutely everything that I do in my personal life, in my business life, with my team, with the people with whom I work. So that energy, or that big why, becomes the guiding force, if you like. Every day I wake up and I think, what can I do today to create more connection in the world? And it gives me a sense of clarity and direction and purpose that I might not otherwise have. So whatever else you get from this series, I invite you to really stop and think about, what is my big why? Why am I in the world? What's the difference that I'm here to make? The second thing is to explore and understand your values. Like the incredible Dr. John Demartini that you may already have heard from, I too am a great believer in the fact that our lives are best developed around knowing and keeping aligned with our highest set of values. If you understand what your highest values are, you can make sure that everything you do in life is in alignment with those values. When you do that, you'll find not only do you create far greater levels of success, but you enjoy far greater sense of peace and centeredness and happiness, that you can feel much more fulfillment in what you offer the world around you and the people that you love. And I think it gives you that sense of knowing with certainty that you're on the right path. If you do things that are out of alignment with your highest values, it will feel like you're banging into obstacles all of the time. If that's what your life feels like, take a moment to really stop and explore your values. And I'm sure John Demartini will tell you exactly how to do that. The third thing that I want to talk with you about today is emotions. Often when people come into contact with me, whether it's in coaching or in our group programs or even in our Green Super Camp children's program, what they're dealing with is emotions. And often emotions with which they're struggling to make sense. What I want to say to you is, emotions are not good or bad, black or white. They just are. There's no such thing as a good or bad emotion. They're just feelings. They're indicators of whether or not you're on the right path. What I like to say is that your emotions are like signposts. If you look at a signpost, you need to get a message from it in order to make a different decision about how to go forward. Imagine, for example, you're driving down a road and there's a signpost that says caution falling rocks. You would read that signpost, get the message, and adjust your driving conditions accordingly. And yet when we're driving down the road of life, if you like, and we come across an emotional signpost, we get out and beat up the signpost. I don't get it. What if we just let that be a signpost, we read it and get the message from it, so that it can then inform the next choice we make about how we go forward? If you think of your emotions as emotional signposts and you look to get the message that that signpost has for you, you're not going to struggle with your emotions so much. Even the ones that sometimes don't feel so pleasant have a different kind of purpose for you. And you look at it with a curiosity to try and understand the message rather than with a judgment of whether it's good or bad. I like to talk about what I call the 4 A's formula. 4 A's into emotion. The first of those 4 A's is about acknowledge. Fundamentally, it's incredibly important for you to just acknowledge what it is that you feel. Don't spend your time trying to run away from your feelings. It's there for a reason. It's a signpost in your life. So acknowledge it, and that will take you one step further in terms of making sense of what the emotion is there to tell you. The second thing is to accept. A is for accept. You can't change things that you don't first accept and own. So just accept that the emotion is there, it's yours, it's real, it's a blessing, it has a message. The third A is to allow. If you just allow the emotion to be there, don't judge it, don't move it into the good or the bad category, just allow it to be there, there's a far greater chance it will deliver its message to you in a much more gentle and respectful way. So you can take the message, make a choice, and move forward. The fourth A is act express. I know what you're thinking, right? That's weird, that's not even a word. It's a made-up word, just go with me here. Act expression, not expression. There's a difference. If I said to you, oh, I was really sad about that thing I saw on the news last night, it's an intellectual expression, it doesn't resonate with your heart. Whereas if I was to say to you, I felt really sad about what happened on the news last night, you can feel it, it resonates with you. There's an act expression to it. So the fourth A in our 4A formula is to act, express your emotion. If you depress things, it's impossible to express things. And in my view, a lot of depression is the result of a lack of expression. In this case, a lack of act expression. Make sure it's appropriate in the way that you act, express your emotion, but let it out. Because in the letting out, in the releasing, in the expression of it, you will find the message that it's there to give you. And it can then change the way that you navigate through life. So your 4A formula into emotion. Apply that, and I'll be really interested to know more about how you get on. That's the end of my presentation for today, and I wish you the very best of luck taking this wonderful Millionaire Mindset Challenge right through to the end. And I wish you the very best of successful outcomes in achieving the things that really matter to you, so that you can express your truth in the world and with the people that you love in a completely different way.